Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my week 2 battle for the IBL. This week we're going up against Clutchsometimes and his Kansas City Kingdras, I believe the team name is. But yeah, if you guys are noticing a lack of a team builder, that's because if you guys didn't catch the video earlier, I decided to give a shot going just separate videos, team builder and then battle, because I realized some people don't want to sit through the team builder, so having that option to either go back and watch that if you really want to, or just watch the battle, get through that. I figured that would be pretty beneficial, just so my videos don't run for 3 hours. I was getting some pretty good advice. With that being said, if you do want to keep that, I will put a link to that in the description below, as well as my opponent's information, all the other coaches' information. So be sure to check all that stuff out for sure. But with that being said, quick little rundown of my team. I have a sub-toxic flamethrower playing skill Spadef Komodo, a Scarf Gren, a Swords Dance Bullet Punch U-Turn Roost Mega Scizor, a Rocky MZ, pretty defensive Archeops to handle that Talonflame over there, a pretty Spadef bulky Recover Nasty Plot, Try Attack Shadow Ball, Porygon Z, and a Calm Mind Culver or Sphere Mew. So right off the bat, biggest threats to me on my opponent's team, who elected to bring the Jirachi, Mega Absol, Sylveon, Landorus, Rotom, and Talonflame. I forgot to say that before I say the biggest threats are. So the biggest threat to me, in my opinion, is going to be that Talonflame. That thing is terrifying versus me. I really don't have good checks to it. Like I said, the team builder, I had to bring a defensive Archeops to kind of check that thing, which is not the best. That being said, Archeops is pretty good here in this matchup, but he has the Landers, which is also very scary if it's set up. I have to be very, very smart about how I play around that thing, and then the Absol as well. If it is Swords Dance, I have to make sure that both my Greninja and my Scizor stay out of range of, like Sucker Punch or something like that. I think he'll be mixed with Fire Blast, but it's something I just do have to be aware of and, play around correctly. Right off the bat, I'm just going to lead off with my Komodo. I figure it's my least useful member, and if he wants to lead off with the Archeops, being that I didn't bring Mammo or Ground type this week, even if I had Mammo, it would be a great lead, because he just Hydro Pumps me and I die. But I figured leading off with that, just to kind of deter that, and being able to go for a free sub and then throw Toxic off on something would be really, really nice at this point. So I figured that would be the best idea for me, just in case he didn't want to lead, because I figured it'd be the Rotom lead, or maybe like a lightly Jirachi lead or something like that. But right here, we are going to get the battle going. Again, be sure to go check out my opponent and all that stuff. Really cool dude from the few times I've talked to him. So we're going to send out our Komodo right here as he elects to lead off with the Jirachi. Now, turn one, I'm going to make a bit of a misplay. I totally forgot this thing got fairy coverage. And he goes for the play rough right here. I don't know if it's Scarf or not. The lead kind of makes me think, but Komodo is very, very naturally bulky, even though we don't have much defense, and I am able to just throw off a flamethrower on this thing. I figured you'd go for Zen Headbutt, because again, I forgot about the fairy coverage, and that only did around half to me, so I didn't think it was too big of a deal, and getting chip off and information on this thing would be, super, super nice. Right here, he is going to pull a double out as we switch out ourselves. I believe that I go right into my Scizor. No, I go into my Mew. Bit of a middle ground play, because I knew the player off wouldn't do much, and I didn't know if he was Scarfed, and he might go for the Fire Punch or something like that. And, Sizz is, a great, great win con this game. But he's going to go into the Talonflame, and I don't really know if this thing's banded. It might be able to set up all over me. It might be Toxic, something like that. So I'm going to go into my Archeops because I am at full. This is my check to this monster, as he is going to switch out. I was scared that he was going to be like Natural Gift or something like that, because if he was, that's amazing prep on his end, but I don't blame him for not over prepping for an Archeops right here. Right here, I am just going to throw off my Z move. I didn't want to miss a Stone Edge and then have him go for a second SD, because then I lose the game. I outright lose the game no matter what. So I figured, going for the safe Continental Crush, it would do a huge chunk to whatever came in, and I would get, great information from, figuring out what happened. So he's going to go into the Rotom right here, and we're going to see that's going to do a huge chunk. So the chunk is he's probably only max HP, maybe a little bit of defense, probably creeping something like Lando or something like that. And he is going to pop the Iapapa. So that kind of sucks, because if I went for the Stone Edge and hit that into Z Rock, would have killed. But nonetheless, not too big of a deal, as he is going to go for the Volt Switch right here. On my Archeops, I'm not going to stay in on that thing. It's definitely not in range of Stone Edge at that point. and he is going to bring out his Mega Absol right here. And again, I don't want to mess around this thing if it's set up. I'm not going to give it a free turn. It likely has Play Rough for my Komodo just to hit it super hard and, pretty much knock it out 100% of the time. As he's going to throw off the Mega this turn, and I am going to stay in. I believe I just clicked Playing Scales on this turn. It did a huge chunks this thing, even though we're not very invested in special attack at all. As he is going to go for the Play Rough, and he's going to be able to knock out our Komodo. Not the biggest deal. Lets me scout a move. It got a good flamethrower chunk off on the Jirachi, so it's not the biggest deal. That ended up going down pretty early. Probably the least useful member on my team this week, as I am going to go into my Greninja right here, and I believe I just throw off a pretty big U-turn right here. It doesn't really want to stand versus me. It knows I'm faster, and if on specs or something like this, I could definitely blow it back, or even Life Orb, something like that. As he's going to pull the safe switch into his Sylveon. We do call that, though. I am going to go for the U-turn, and we find out that he is Cute Charm. So, like I suspected, he is definitely Moonblast Sylveon, so that our Komodo can just sit in front of that thing and wall it, which is, very, very good prep on his end. But that also means he won't be hitting as hard because Hyper Voice, with the Pixelate boost, obviously does a little bit more damage. So our Porygon Z is a good check to this thing. We can nasty plot up on it potentially and all that good stuff. So right here, I get the free switch into my Mega Scizor right here. I'm going to throw off my Mega, and I'm going to throw off a big U-turn right here, because I know the Talonflame is still at full health. There's no reason for me to try and set up in the game at this point. So I'm going to use this thing as the pivot, as a very nice bulky pivot into like the Sylveon, stuff like that. Do a decent little chunk to the Talonflame right there, and we're going to get in our Archeops for free right here, which is honestly the freest rocks of my life. I can go, straight for the Stealth Rock, and I don't know if he wants to go straight into his Rotom, because he's definitely 2 KO by Stone Edge at this point, as he does make a good middle ground play, goes right into his Jirachi, as I am able to get up my Stealth Rocks right here, which will make that Talonflame much less of a threat. After Rocks, it's going to be in range of a +2 Bullet Punch based on that U-turn damage, which is great. And right here, I'm going to stay in. He actually reveals to be Choice Scarf Jirachi, which is good that he went for the U-turn, because if he would have went for the Iron Head, he probably would have knocked us out right there. As I believe right here, I just go straight for an Earthquake, trying to knock this thing out, because if he was offensive and he wasn't Choice Scarf, I definitely would have knocked him out right there with the Earthquake, because Archeops is an absolute monster, actually, from an attacking perspective. But right here, he's going to go for the Acrobatics with his Talonflame, as I believe I go straight for the Stone Edge, and I am able to knock out the Talonflame, which is phenomenal, because, like I said pre-game, I think this was probably the biggest threat versus my team. So being able to get rid of that is absolutely amazing. He's going to go right back into his Jirachi, and this time I am not going to mess around. I know this thing's Scarf, and I'm definitely in range of an Iron Head. I figure keeping the Archeops is a great idea, just because it's very, very good versus his team. I don't think he'll go for another U-turn. He does go for the Iron Head. I make a big ground play into my Greninja right here, because just in case he did want to get cheeky and go for the Fire Punch or go for the U-turn, I didn't want my Mew or my Scizor taking that unnecessary chip, and I knew I could live any one hit from this thing, and I didn't figure he'd go for a Play Rough right there. So I am going to go for another U-turn on this incoming Sylveon on the next turn, as he obviously switches out, knowing that he's Choice Scarf into Iron Head, and I am a Greninja, so he's not really breaking through me unless he flinches me like 5-6 times in a row, and I can definitely knock him out with a Dark Pulse. And he has a pretty safe switch into Sylveon, but again, this is what we were talking about in the Team Builder, where this lets in my Scizor for free every time it wants to come in, and I U-turn out on it with my Gren, which is great. As right here, he's going to go for the Protect, kind of scouting what I'm going to do as I go for the U-turn. And now on this play, knowing that he went for the Protect, and he probably is like, oh, he's just going to go for the U-turn again. He's, trying to grab momentum. I can't let him keep getting momentum. I'm going to go for the Swords Dance. I'm expecting him to want to predict me, either go for a Wish or throw off a Moonblast, and even if he goes for an HP Fire, I know for a fact I can live it, and I know he's leftover, so I can throw off a big Bullet Punch after, and pretty much 2 KO something, as he does go for the Moonblast, trying to read us going into another Mon, which is, again, great, because now we're at +2, we're threatening this thing, we threaten everything else on his team, as I believe this turn he is going to switch out, and I am going to call that, because I think that thing's very important in stopping my Greninja, and I am going to go for a U-turn on the incoming Lando, which takes a little bit of rock chips, brings us down to +1 instead of +2, but again, not a big deal, because we still do a decent chunk with this U-turn right here, able to bring in one of our other Mons pretty safely and all that stuff. So I am going to go right into my Greninja. I believe this turn I am going to go for the Surf, just in case, even if he wants to go into Sylveon, it's not the biggest deal, but he's been seeing I've been U-turning all over him. I figure he doesn't want to let him in my Scizor again, because again, if I get up a Sword Dance at the right time, if I just chip this Rotom a little bit more, I can definitely win the game with my Sword Dance Scizor. As I am going to go for the Surf as he goes into the Rotom, not wanting us to get a bunch of momentum. He's going to take a little bit of chip right there. He's almost in range of a +2 Bullet Punch. I think after maybe 1 or 2 more Rock Switchings, it will be likely as I am going to pull a switch out as he into my Porygon Z, as he does go for the Volt Switch right here. Pretty free Volt Switch on his end. It really, didn't hurt him at all. He would have knocked out my my Greninja if I stayed in, and, I have obviously didn't bring a ground type this week. So he's going to go into the Jirachi, and right here, I could have switched out on the very obvious Iron Head, but I am going to try and stay in right here. The reason I stay in is because, obviously, he has a pretty high chance to flinch me with the Iron Head, but if I am able to get off a Shadow Ball, I knock this thing out. And if I knock this thing out, then my Archeops is a lot scarier. He doesn't have much outspeed other than the Absol. And then my Scizor is a lot scarier too, because this is one of his only steel resist loss. He has this in the Rotom, which is very chipped. So if I can knock this thing out, I'm obviously going to try and take that opportunity. As he does go for the Iron Head right here, unfortunately we are going to be flinched though. That's just the nature of the move and the ability, so it can't be too mad there. It is Jirachi after all. As I am going to switch out and preserve my Porygon as either a Sack later, or I can potentially, recover up on the Rotom. I can potentially recover up on the Sylveon, something like that. As I am going to go into my Scizor now that I know he's choice locked. And I believe I just off a big U-turn right here because there's no reason for him to stay in. I obviously, don't take anything from those roofs. As he is going to go into his Lando, take a tiny bit of Rocks Chip, and I believe I go for the U-turn this turn. And I am going to get crit, unfortunately. Get a crit, not get crit. Get a crit, unfortunately, which is very, very big. It did a lot more than it should have with that U-turn, which actually puts him in range potentially of my Mew right here. So I am going to go into my Mew. In hindsight, maybe I should have gone Gren, but I didn't want to invite, in the Sylveon, in the Rotom or something like that. And I figured, depending on his investment, this Psyshock was a roll, as he looks like he lives on maybe like 1 or 2 HP, and he is going to be able to get off the Fly Z. And this scared me for a minute. Though we are a very defensive Mew, I don't really know his spread or anything like that. But based on what I've seen so far, he's probably a very offensive Lando, just based on how much U-turns have been doing and stuff like that, as he is going to go for the Supersonic Sky Strike, do a big chunk to our Mew, but we are going to eat that up because we are Mew. And I am going to go for a Soft Boiled right here, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Soft Boiled because, again, I'm not too weak KO'd by Earthquake. I can get it to a decent amount of health. And especially if he's not like max attack and he's like, optimized EVs a little bit, we can definitely get up a decent amount of health. And I want to be able to get to a range out of that Absol's knockoff potentially, because if I can weaken that thing also, my Archeops looks amazing. My Porygon looks absolutely amazing. If I can just, obviously chip things down right here. So I am going to start getting up some pretty up full to health right here, as I am going to, I believe, one more time go for a Soft Whale. It's going to bring me up to about half, and I figure that's about the best I could do. I could have gone a little bit longer and potentially gotten a little bit above half, but at this point I really didn't want to risk a crit. If I got crit into another crit or something like that, and I lose my Mew, I lose one of my better win cons in this game, because this thing can set up all over stuff like the Sylveon, stuff like the Rachi if it locks into the wrong move and I don't get flinched down. So I am just going to go for the Psyshock right here. We are going to be able to knock out the Landers, which is very, very nice. Obviously, that thing was a huge, huge threat, as he is going to go into the Absol right here. Now, right here, this was a big play. I contemplated switching out, but I figured he might have Pursuit, and I am Colbur Berry, so I figured popping in on that isn't, the best idea. And if he wanted to go for a knockoff right here, it was actually a slight roll in my favor, but I believe it was a roll in my favor. I think he had like a 43% something chance to knock me out from the range of HP. I was at if he was Jolly Max Attack knockoff. And I figure that is a roll in my favor, and if I can live that and, get this thing down very low, again, very, very nice for the rest of my team, because Aurasphere, while it might not knock out, if he's naive, it has a chance. If he's not, it doesn't have a chance to knock him out unless we get a crit or something. But regardless, it should put him in range of rocks or around there. So the closer I could do that would obviously be great. So he is going to throw off the knockoff right here. We're going to eat our Colbur Berry, and we have to see right here if we are going to get this roll and live, and we do on 3 HP, which is absolutely amazing. We're able to get off a big, big Aurasphere, do a huge chunk to this monster, and it is definitely in range of rocks at this point. So right here, I'm going to switch out because I feel like I can preserve my Mew to potentially set up on the Sylveon and the Rotom. I can come in and I can recover off him. And he doesn't have any rockers at this point other than potentially the Scarf Jirachi. So I figure, it does help. So I am going to go in and I'm going to sack off my Porygon Z. He's going to go for the Fire Blast, revealing that he is a mixed set like I did think so. So he's probably 4 attacks. I don't think he's SD with Fire Blast. As right here, I'm going to go into my Greninja. I know I can take a Sucker Punch from this range. And I am going to go for a U-turn and knock out this Mega Absol right here. So down it goes. And we're looking in a pretty commanding situation. We can potentially really just win this game with our Scizor if we get in at the right time and get off an SD. It's just a matter of getting off that SD. So right here, I'm going to go into Archeops. It's my least useful member, and I figure I can scout up for every wants to do. And he goes into the Jirachi. Now right here, another really, really big play. We obviously know he's Choice Scarf Jirachi at this point, and we obviously know Archeops, despite me being pretty defensive, I'm definitely in range of a Iron Head from this point. But at this point, if he does decide to go for the Iron Head and he knocks out my Archeops, it gives me a free switch into my Mega Scizor, and I get up an SD and I win the game. Because he would have to switch out, obviously. He doesn't want to stay in and try and beat me like that. The Rotom is definitely in range of a +2 Bullet Punch. This thing, after it comes in on rocks one more time, is definitely in range of a +2 Bullet Punch, and we know we knock out the Sylveon as well. So in my head, if he goes for that, I win the game, and if he doesn't, I get off a free Roost right here, and I pressure whatever wants to come in and hit it very, very hard, because my Arceus doesn't have any switch-ins right now. So we do get that play right. He is going to go for the U-turn right here, knock us into defeatus range, but it does not matter, because we are going to go for a Roost right here, and we're going to be able to get back up to essentially full. As he goes into the Rotom right here, takes a little bit of Rocks Chip as I do get up my Roost, and, get that, attacking power back right here. Now, this next turn, I am obviously going to go for a Stone Edge. Hopefully we hit so we can get rid of this Rotom, because it's another roadblock for our Scizor, potentially. We are able to hit, and we are able to knock out the Rotom. And can we just talk about how much work this Arceus has put in this game? He is going to go back into his Rachi. He's in range of a +2 Bullet Punch most likely now, unless he's a lot more bulky than I thought. And I am going to leave him my Arceus again. I believe I went for a Roost again, and we are going to go down to the Iron Head. But again, can we just talk about how much work that Arceus really did put in versus my opponent's team for a Tier 5 going 2-1 in this game and stopping when it needed to stop. Very, very phenomenal performance by it. So right here, I'm going to go to my Scizor. I'm going to click SD. He's going to go for some flinches. It's only his only play at this point, as he does flinch me right here. Again, I'm going to go for another SD, because if I get it up, I win the game. And we get flinched again. So right here, I believe it's this turn. He goes for another Iron Head. This is the last time. I'm going to try and get up an SD and win this game. He gets another flinch. So it's 3 in a row, 4 in the game. I think he's 4 for 4 in his Iron Head flinches. I'm just going to go for the Bullet Punch, because again, I know he's in range of 2 of them, and I don't want to lose the game because I get flinched 6-7 times in a row. Because I believe I can beat the Sylveon on the back with the pieces I have left if I play correctly. So I am going to go for one more Bullet Punch. We are going to pick off the Jirachi with our Scizor, which is, again, very, very nice. I wish I could have gotten up the SD there, because I think that would have saved us some differential. We would have won that game right away. But again, that's Rachi doing Rachi things. Can't be too mad. It has the ability, and the moves for a reason. We know we're playing when we go into prep. So right here, I am going to go for the Roost. Kind of scouting. I don't know if this Sylveon has hidden Power Fire, and if it does, that means it is not Calm Mind. So my Mew can definitely beat it 1v1. So I figured there's no drawback to go for a Roost in case he went for a Calm Mind or something like that, and then I can go for an SD and win the game. But he is going to show us hidden Power Fire, which sucks because our Scizor was not going to be able to beat this thing unless he's like no defense, minus defense nature. We won't ever kill this thing. But I am going to be able to get off a big, big chunk with the Bullet Punch right here. And him showing me that he's hidden Power Fire, he's likely hidden Power Fire, Moonblast, Wish, Protect. And that makes it to where my Mew can definitely set off all over it. The only thing that really scared me was going to be a Calm Mindset. That's the only way my Mew didn't beat this thing. That and, big crits and stuff like that. The Sizz is going to go down, but we are able to go into our Mew right here. And I'm glad that we preserved this thing, because otherwise our Greninja was not beating it. I'm going to go for the Psyshock. If he elects to attack me and knock me out, I definitely knock him out with Surf in the next turn, but he is going to go for the Wish right here, as he does live on a Sliver with the Psyshock. As I believe this next turn, expecting him to go for a Protect, I am going to go for a Soft Boil and get back up to a pretty healthy amount. Now this is the point in the battle. I am going to speed it up a little bit because in my mind, I want to guarantee this win, so I am going to try and get +3/+3. That way, even though I know he's not max defense, unless my calcs were just wrong with the Scizor and for some reason it did way more than it should have, +3/+3 is what I need to knock to 2-hit KO a max defense Sylveon with Psyshock. So I am going to get up to a certain amount of health to where I'm always out of range of a crit Moonblast. I can start call minding up on this thing and potentially getting +3 and winning this game. As long as we don't get crit, as long as we don't have a couple crazy drops, we should be completely fine. So I'm going to go for my first Calm Mind. He's going to just start spamming Moonblast versus me, which is his only play in all honesty. And I'm going to go for a Soft Boiled, get back up pretty healthy. He goes for another big Moonblast. We're at +1/+1 at this point, so we're not completely out of the woods yet. As I believe I go for my second Calm Mind here. So we're going to get to +2, which is getting great. We're getting pretty close. We just need to avoid some more crits really quick. I hate using slow fat setup just because getting into these crit wars right here in front of other opponent, it's nerve-wracking. I would rather play a super fast, high-paced, like offensive game and just have things click buttons versus each other. But unfortunately, that's not what Mew does all the time. It's very, very good in this fast setup role, so we're going to let it do its thing as we do get to +3/+3 at this point. As he is going to just, again, keep spamming Moonblast. And thankfully, he didn't get any special attack drops or anything like that, which would have made this take a little bit longer because I would have gotten up to +3 special attack before I started attacking. I'm going to go for the Soft Boil because I am potentially in range of like a crit Moonblast if he's Modged or something like that. Actually, I don't think I was. I think I did that just to be safe because there's no reason not to. As I am going to go for the Side Shock, it's going to do clean 75%. One more Moonblast comes off, and then we are going to be able to finish off this game with one final Side Shock right here as we take down the Sylveon, and we are able to pick up a nice 2-0 victory versus Clutch. GG to my opponent. Was definitely a super, super fun game. Had me on the edge of my seat with that dang Rachi flinching down my Scizor, but everything performed in the way that I really wanted it to, other maybe than the Komodo and the Porygon. They didn't do too much, but the other members on the team definitely carried in this very, very scary matchup. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Help me grow a little bit, so you can catch the games as they go up and all that stuff. And just let me know that you're enjoying the content on the channel. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys next time. Later.